Hey, hockey fans, and welcome back to another edition of Puck My Life. We have a special treat for you tonight. This is the first time we have done a game experience review with three of the Puck My Life crew members. So I'd like to welcome Caleb and Mark in tonight. How we doing, fellas? Just one of you, just somebody.
I was like, I'll let him go first.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Go ahead, Caleb. Right. Pass it off to Caleb. Go ahead, Caleb.
Okay, I'm doing great. Ready for tonight. This is going to be a very interesting game experience because, as we were discussing just a little bit before, we had several experiences between each of us. So,
yeah. How about you, Mark? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It seems like it's going to be a good show, and I know very little about your guys' experience, and it seems like you guys know a little about mine. So we'll see what the Spartans bring when you go to their hockey game.
All right. Well, tonight's game experience, we are going over the MSU Spartans, Michigan State Spartans. They're part of the Big Ten, and they play at Munn Ice Arena. And for me to get out there, it's about a 2-hour drive, 114 miles. Now, Mark, you're a little bit closer than that. You're probably what, like an hour 15, hour 20?
Like an hour.
Okay. And then
Caleb, less than that.
And Caleb, you're probably about an hour as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's really not that bad. It was a nice drive. It's actually, for me, it's actually closer to go to Munn than it actually is to go to Little Caesars, which was weird when I was thinking about it. It just I don't go to Lansing all that often, so it kind of seemed like Lansing was always a bit further, but it is what it is. So like I said, they play at Munn Ice Arena. Now, when we first walked up to Munn Ice Arena, I did not expect it to kind of look like this. I guess from what we were told by a friend of ours that goes to MSU, that it underwent some massive renovations over the last little while. I'm not exactly sure how much money they threw at it or how long that took, but walking up to it, I was not expecting it to look like this. What were your guys' thoughts when you first walked up to the arena?
It was something different. What did I notice? I think I noticed the football field first because they had the giant Spartan head on the football field.
Yeah, it seemed like there were several buildings right along that strip that were sports complexes that looked like they had undergone major renovation. The updates look really good. It looks very modern and clean compared to some of the other buildings that we've been in to watch hockey and stuff like that. It's a really nice building.
Yeah, and you could definitely tell from the inside that it was very clean. It seemed like that it had gone through extensive renovations all throughout the arena, not just the outside that we just showed you. One thing I did want to point out, because I know some people, when they go to games, I know Mark and I experienced this when we went to Yost, and we'll be talking about that in an upcoming video. But you can chime in on this too, Mark. I don't really like the regular bleacher seating. I don't think it's all that comfortable. I don't like not having something to lean on when I'm in the seat. It's very uncomfortable. As you can see, there's those, it looks like little dots on those bleacher seats that are close to us. Those are actually the numbers of where you're supposed to put your butt cheeks down. And some people don't abide by that, so you get like smushed over. I know Cody will have something to say about that when we talk about the Yost game, because it was not good. But I knew that this arena did have some of the regular seating, so I made sure when Caleb and I got tickets that we would sit in a section that had that. Mark, now, when you went, did you have the bleacher seating, or did you have like more of the stadium seating?
I had the stadium seating. I was I want to say I was in the second row, so okay. I had stadium seating. I can't do the bleachers. I think it might just be a college thing, honestly, just like for that school vibe, maybe. I don't. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
I know this side right here was definitely like student section, where this bleacher was, or maybe it was on the other side. I don't
opposite side.
Tyler.
Opposite side. We were in the other corner.
Yeah,
a large portion of it was student section, so it might have been discounted seats anyway for the students. That's what I kind of was thinking.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that a little bit more because I think part of the reason with it having the bleacher versus the stadium seating, that I think it does affect the price. And we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But what I have up first for you guys is just a little quick overview of what the arena looks like inside Munn. So yeah, that's Munn Ice Arena in a nutshell. What did you guys actually think of, like, the app? Like, I don't know. I'll rephrase it later. We'll come back to that. But I do want to ask this question really quick. So if you saw the team that they were playing when Mark or Caleb and I went, was Ohio State University. Mark, who did you see them play?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Both double Big Ten matchups. And in your game, did they win or lose?
They lost.
They lost. They won in our game. So we'll get more into that a little bit later. But first thing we like to talk about when we go over these game experiences is the parking. Now, when we were talking a little bit before we jumped into this, sounds like we had a little bit different experience with the parking. And for us, we were directed over to this parking lot that was just right across the way from the arena. It was $5 parking. It was actually nice and easy. We just had to cross this one major street here, and there was a light that you could go to cross over, so it wasn't really all that bad for Caleb and I. But Mark, what was your situation like for parking?
So before I went, I got with Tyler and I was like, hey, how's parking? Where do I go? Because I didn't have this video to look at. So I asked Tyler. Tyler said that there was a parking garage. And when I went to look for it, I put Munn Ice Arena into my Google, and it brought me up to where, if you remember that first picture of the front of the arena, it brought me up to the right side of it. And there was nothing over there. There was like no parking over there. I want to say there were some buildings over there. So I had to circle all the way around that building up to the left side, and I still couldn't find the parking garage. So I was looking around. I ended up just finding a parking lot kind of more towards the back of the arena. I want to say I paid like $5 or $10 to park in there.
Okay, so it wasn't that bad. So you were doing the scenic route to get there, but you eventually found
apparently it. Google brought me a different direction. Maybe it was just one of the settings in my Google or something of that sort. But in my experience on parking, it was very hard to find.
Yeah, because for us, what was happening at the basketball arena, they were actually having a women's volleyball game. So we thought we could park in there. We were told from a friend of ours that we could park there, but they didn't know that a volleyball game was going on. So when we came around to park, the attendant just pointed over to this building, and he's like, hey, go on over to that parking garage. They'll get you all set up, and then you just cut across here and you're good to go. So it wasn't that bad. If you are wondering to, the best thing to do is just go on their website and see if there is any other events going on in the area. Because I know if there's a basketball game, especially men's basketball, it's going to be packed in that whole area. So take that into consideration. I don't think that they would actually schedule them on the same day because of how many people would be there, but who knows? You just never know. Yep. But just go onto their website and check ahead of time. All right, next up is the tickets. So for us, we paid around the $20-$25 range. It was actually closer to $25 because we had the stadium seats, and then on the ends where most of the sections were, where this gray part is, those are like full bleacher sections. Those are starting off at $10. So really $10 to $25, and the more you pay, the better seats that you are going to get as far as the quality of the actual seat. You will get the stadium seats and then not get the bleacher ones. And I thought this was kind of interesting for an upcoming game on Saturday, January 14th. $25 gets you a reserved bleacher seat plus a limited edition MSU hockey lunchbox. So if you guys...
I've seen some people with those. They were doing that for my game too. It's just like a little metal lunchbox with their logo on it.
Okay, so was it worth it? Do you think you would have?
I would definitely. I don't think I would have, just because it was just an old style metal tin lunchbox, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, they didn't have anything as far as those kind of promos when we went there, but in just a minute we'll be talking about something else that they were giving out that night. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the merch. And so we have a little bit to go over in this because we said it before, Mark, your experience was a little bit different than our experience. And me and Mark were talking about this. He was having a hard time finding this. So this is the Pro Shop. This is actually where we bought our pucks that you can see here. I'll see if I can adjust this down. I don't know what it's going to do if we have 3 people on here. Okay, so this is the puck that I got, and I got it inside the Pro Shop. Now, Caleb, you ended up getting this puck as well, or no?
No.
Did you get this one? This is the one you were after, Mark, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when we went there, you can see that guy in there. He's sitting at that display case. He pulled these out of the case, and then there was also these other sections along the corners in the back that had stuff too. And correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb, but I remember seeing at the checkout counter, there's like a display case built in. I remember seeing these pucks in there as well. You remember seeing them too?
Yeah, I thought there was 2 different styles of pucks in there, but
I remember just seeing this one. Now, Mark, what was your experience with the pucks? Because other thing that happened too is Mark was trying to get a hold of me to try to figure out what was going on with these guys. And I was actually in Canada with Cody. I don't know which road trip we were on, but he could not get a hold of me, and I apologize for that.
I think you were at London. I think you were in London at that time.
Probably would have been in London, yes. We were somewhere on the adventure. But anyway, So you want to kind of explain what happened with you in trying to get a puck and the frustration and stuff?
I went in the side door, and the side door would be like to the right of this little kiosk here. And I looked over, I seen the kiosk, and that was like the first place I went because I wanted to get my puck. So I go over there, I'm looking around, and I'm looking at the jerseys, and I'm looking in the little case, and I didn't see any puck. And I asked the lady, I was like, hey, do you guys have any pucks? And she's like, oh, I don't have any here. Go over to the one across from me. So she points across the aisle. There was another kiosk across the arena, same as this out in the concourse. And I go over there. I'm looking around, still no puck. And I asked that girl, and the girl goes, and she's like, oh, well, we've never sold pucks here. I was like, that makes no sense. My buddy was just here a couple weeks ago, and he got a puck. And she's like, well, I've worked here all summer, and there's been no pucks here. And I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. So I'm trying to call Tyler and figure out where he got his puck. Turns out it was in that little pro shop. But if you look at the picture previous here, there's the pro shop. And if you see the little green like pro shop there, and go back to this one, if you look in the top left over there, you can see the pro shop hiding behind that kiosk. I don't know if I just overlooked that with it being behind like that wall there or something, but I lost out on a puck because, I don't know, maybe I was just too excited about being at the arena and looking around at everything else, but I definitely missed that pro shop behind the little kiosk there. So it's a loss for me, but
it is kind of hidden back there. Honestly, I didn't see it at first when we were walking by either. It's pretty small little area.
Yeah, so lost out on a sale for me, but it is what it is.
Because me and Caleb, we got there kind of early, like right when the doors opened, and we walked up, and I remember saying to Caleb, like, really, this is it? This is their merch store? Because they hadn't, you can see these displays, they're on wheels. They hadn't wheeled those out yet. Like, we had just got there. They were still like setting up and everything. And so we didn't even see those when we came in. And I look over and I see that little pro shop, and it's just like, I thought that was it. It's like, this is all they have for merch. Yeah. And then when we went in there, we were talking to that guy for a little while, and then we came out, and then this was all set up after we got out there. And then, but yeah, they do sell pucks, guys. We don't know what that lady was talking about.
Yeah.
And if you are gonna try to go and you are going like us to get the puck, and you just want to make sure they have it, just call ahead and just see. We didn't think that would be an issue, especially like since it's only like halfway through the season. I didn't think they were gonna run out of pucks that quickly. We don't know. They still might have had them in that pro shop. Who knows? but it just gives you an excuse to go to another game, Mark.
Right. Yep.
So, but one other thing I did want to add in here real quick was they actually, whoops, wrong button. All right. So they were giving out this puck at the beginning of the game. And when Caleb and I first got there, we thought this was like a foam puck. Like a lot of times when they give out stuff like this, it's a foam puck. It says Spartan Hockey Strong. It was for some cancer thing. I think it was breast cancer or something like that, awareness. And then, so I sent a picture to Mark because they were handing these out. And he's like, hey, go get me one of those. So I went and got one and I put it in my pocket. And from some time that I put it in my pocket, so when we sat down, we had lost the puck. I mean, Caleb and I walked around the concourse looking for this. I went in the restroom just to check. So I went in there and it's like, we could not find this puck anywhere. Then we started walking around the concourse, going to like the 4 different tables that had these pucks there. We could not find the puck. And so we were looking all underneath our seats and everything. Well, at the end of the game, when people were starting to leave, I walked down to see if anybody else had like dropped the puck. And as I was doing that, I actually found a warm-up puck that was flown into the stands that nobody even noticed. And so I was able to give that to Mark. So Mark, you still were able to get a puck from there. It wasn't the one you wanted, but at least you were able to get something.
It was a player played with puck, all right?
Right, yep.
That's even more valuable.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as valuable because it was on the M or OSU side. So I don't know. We'll see about that. All right, next up is concessions. So they just had a few little like concession stands like this on different sides of the arena. Then they had a few of the little kiosks. I think there was like a Dippin' Dots one. I think there was one that had ice cream, you know, just the normal stuff. I didn't really see anything that kind of stuck out. I mean, their prices were, I guess, okay. I mean, you can kind of see here, you know, a hot dog combo with a drink and a bag of popcorn was $16. You know, some of the stuff kind of seemed a little much. I mean, $4 for a hot chocolate. I think it's like $2 for the Firebirds if you go. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of like in between the NHL and like a OHL game. Did you guys kind of get that vibe as I did?
Yes.
When I went, I got I got popcorn, and I have to say it's one of the best popcorn I've ever had. The popcorn was really good.
Nice.
Yeah, and for was it say $5? Did you get the box or did they have like big bags? Okay, box of popcorn $5.
Yep.
Now I don't know about you guys, but I forgot it being a college campus. You know, they don't serve beer or like booze or anything there.
Yep.
So I thought that was worth mentioning. Anybody traveling there for a first time, you know, you're gonna have to drink it in the parking lot.
Yep. If you want to get hammered, you got to do some pregame before you go in. That's for sure. All right. Next up is the atmosphere. So I do have a couple of clips here I'm going to show you guys for the atmosphere. One thing that was kind of cool when they scored a goal. I don't know if this happened when you were there, Mark, but it happened when we were there. There was a guy and this other dude behind him, and they were running around the arena with the MSU flag. So we'll show you guys a little clip of what that looked like from our seats. Yeah, and I don't know what the name of that instrument like escapes me. You guys know what the instrument is that the guy was behind him with? It's not a euphonium. It's something else.
Oh, no.
Wait, that guy was like playing and sprinting around the arena at the same time. So props to those guys. I thought that was kind of cool. And then there was a lot of times too where the crowd was definitely getting into it, and they had like their little chants for when stuff was said. And I really think that it is a different type of atmosphere when you do go to a college hockey game versus NHL, because they have all their little things that they have with tradition and stuff like that. So I'm going to play another clip that shows a little bit more of that. Yeah, so I thought there was a lot of energy in the building. You can see that it wasn't a packed house. It wasn't like Michigan was in the building playing. I actually thought it was going to be a sellout crowd with Ohio State being there, and it wasn't. But I thought the atmosphere was great. Like I love going to the college games. I think there's just something about it that is just different from everything else. Even Mark and I have gone to so many Firebirds games, and that is kind of getting up there, but in a lot of ways it's not even close to the type of atmosphere you get when you go to a college game, especially for a college team that's really into it. Now, when I talk about the Wisconsin Badgers in a couple weeks, that was on the opposite end of the spectrum, because their school, it seems like they don't really care as much about their hockey program as some of these other ones, but like Michigan and Michigan State. But I don't know. I just thought it was cool to have like this. We were sitting right next to the student section. It was great. How was your experience with the atmosphere, Mark, at your game?
So you say how that guy was running around the back like the concourse?
Yeah.
Mine was a shutout game, so I did not watch one goal scored the whole game. Not only did I not see one goal scored, there wasn't a single penalty called either. And I've never ran into that, to where there wasn't any penalties the whole game. It was something else. Definitely a weird experience.
Yeah, it does sound like. Did you agree with what I said earlier, Caleb, about our experience and everything?
I loved it. I loved the band there, the student section. They were like fired up, doing all of their chants, swearing at the other team. It was just, it was like, yeah, it was just like that tradition, like atmosphere that you get from a college campus. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a really neat experience for sure.
They had all the chance. They were still getting them going and pumping them up, but not enough to score, I guess. Something. I know previous to that, I want to say they were in Florida for the weekend, and I know that they swept that. But then I guess they came home and they were just too tired from that or something. I don't know.
No, partied too much the week prior.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit before we hopped on, and I was saying to Mark, I was going to save it for when we got in the video as to the reason why I'm wearing the Ducks jersey. And the reason why I'm wearing the Ducks jersey, because this is a jersey I wore because I hate both of the teams that I saw. So when I was there, I told Caleb, I said, I hate both of these teams. I said, I hate MSU. I said, I hate OSU. I said, but we had to go to this arena, so I'm cheering for the refs. So the whole game we were cheering for the refs, or at least I was. I think you were too. But yeah, we were cheering for the refs, and so I think
the other Goldberg.
Yeah, the other Goldberg. Yeah, there was another Goldberg. So one thing that I would like to do in the next couple of weeks before we go to another game like this, where I hate both of the teams, I do want to go to Pirani's and get a referee jersey to wear to some of the games, so I can officially cheer for the refs.
So you were the Ducks fan.
Yeah, I was the Ducks fan, and there was another guy on the other side further down. But yeah, I was one of the Ducks fans that night. So. All right, so next up is the puck score. So as you've heard throughout this whole video, Caleb and mine experience was totally different from Mark. So this is based off of mine and Caleb's experience. Now, Mark, after I get done reading through this, if you want to kind of let us know what you would have gave them based off of your experience. So for me, I gave them a 10 out of 10 for parking, 10 for tickets, 9 for merch, 8 for concessions, and 10 for atmosphere. So before we get to you, Mark, Caleb, do you agree, disagree? What do you think of what I gave them as for their puck score?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if we throw marks into there, maybe the parking goes down to like a 9 or something like that. But I think overall it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah. So what about you, Mark? How would you rate them if you were to give them a puck score based off of what you experienced?
I mean, I could be real mean on the parking. I really want to hope that it was just my phone messing up. Or, I mean, I did put in Munn Ice Arena, so it took me to the arena. That's all I put into there, so there's a possibility. I'd probably do 9 on parking just because I want to be nice. I would probably do 8, and I'm a Spartans fan, so this is all straight, no bias here. tickets 10 out of 10. Merch, I want to do a 6 on that so bad. I mean, I'm upset. I'm salty about it, especially if your own people don't know, like, hey, the pro shop's right here next to my booth, but she points me across the arena to the other one. I don't know. Didn't really make sense to me. So merch, I'm going to say 6. Concessions, best popcorn, so I'm going to do a 10 on that one.
Okay.
Atmosphere 10, yeah.
Okay. Did you actually get anything merch wise from them at the arena?
I got a free like beanie hat. If you took a picture like with the Spartan there, it was like a promo thing. It just said Big Ten on it. It was a green beanie hat that said Big Ten. So
Okay, that's kind of cool.
it was cool. Yeah, so it was a souvenir. It's warm. It's a warm hat.
That's good. Good. I'm glad you were able to leave with something after your whole puck ordeal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and for the WoW/X Factor, I ended up giving them a 2 out of 3 because I just thought from our night, I think everything went well from start to finish. I don't think there was really any hiccups except for me losing that puck. Other than that, that was about it. So the grand total puck score for MSU is a 49. All right, so just a few other things before we wrap up tonight. What's left? We are starting to actually dwindle the list down, everyone. So we actually took a few out this week. We did Erie just a little bit ago and then taking out MSU tonight. The next one I will be doing with Caleb will be the Notre Dame experience that we had actually the next night after this game. And then Cody and I are looking at jumping into the Buffalo Sabres one. I don't know which one. Do you know which one you're going to be jumping in on next, Mark, by chance?
Not sure. It really just depends on what we set up.
Okay. I know for sure that you will be in on like Michigan, the Spitfire, stuff like that. So there's more times you guys will see Mark back on here as well. So all right, so mark your calendars for this is the first time I think you've seen this. You've been on a video.
Yep.
So mark your calendars, guys. This month on January 8th, you want to kind of go into what you're doing on January 8th there, Mark?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yep,
You, Mark.
I'm going to be in Windsor, seeing the Spitfires versus the Firebirds. So going to rep the Firebirds there, be the away team. I'm hoping it's going to be a good experience. I like the Spitfires, so I plan on buying some merch there. And then Tyler went not too long ago, so he's told me that it's pretty good. So I'm excited for that one.
Did you you've been saving your allowance for all the pucks that are there?
Yeah.
Any of those photos? I'm going to tell you guys. We'll show more of this later once we get to that game experience. But they have the largest selection of pucks that I've ever seen. Not just their team stuff, they have a lot, but just they cover every single team in the CHL. Like I've never seen an arena carry all those pucks. So you're going to be in heaven. You better get there when the doors open because you're going to be shopping the whole game. You might not even watch any of the game. And then you can see there on January 19th, the Vegas Golden Knights. Cody is actually going out to Vegas to hang out with his girlfriend for a little while, and he's going to catch the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Detroit Red Wings. So I was talking to him a little bit about it a while ago, and he was kind of torn on who he's going to cheer for because he really likes both teams. And so he said that he's going to cheer for Detroit on this one. And the four of us might actually be going out to Vegas in March. So then he said he can cheer for Vegas when he goes out for that game. So he was happy about that. And then you can see on there the 27th and 28th. Caleb, do you want to kind of go over what you, me, and possibly Jose are going to be doing the 27th and 28th?
Yeah, we plan to 27th. We're planning to see Ferris State play. And then on 28th, we're going to see Western play in the Kalamazoo area. So
that'll be good. I've been looking forward to doing this for a little while, and it was one of like only 2 times, I think, from now to the end of the season that both of them were going to be in the area together. So I called up Caleb, and we got things going. So we'll be adding that to the list very shortly. And like I said, Jose might be tagging along for that one. We don't know yet. If you also want to see some of the other things that we got going on, the best way to get a hold of us and check out the new content is over on Instagram at Puck My Life. Please go over there and give us a follow if you haven't already. And we appreciate all the people who are still following us. And yeah, that's about it for tonight, guys. That wraps up the game experience for the MSU Spartans, Michigan State Spartans. So you guys have anything else you guys want to add before we get out of here for the night?
Check out the other video game experiences if you haven't already. Make sure you watch the whole video. Check out some of the other videos and content, like Tyler said. And yeah, I can't wait for the next one.
All right, Mark. Anything else before we go?
Nope, I'm so upset about the puck.
Okay, he's gonna be fuming for a while, guys. He'll feel better once he gets to Windsor and he's in puck heaven. So it'll definitely make up for it. It's good therapy for you, Mark. You can move on for this.
It'll be the complete opposite. It'll be overwhelming now.
Right,
Too many choices.
Hockey's always good therapy.
Yep. My name is Mark, and I have a problem. So, all right. Well, I appreciate both of you guys coming on, and we will be one of the next ones we'll either be doing is Buffalo or Notre Dame. So stay tuned for that. So you guys have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.
See ya.